Have you ever wondered what it feels like to not worry about money? I don't mean private jet rich. I mean the quiet comfort of not having to stress about everyday expenses. It's the freedom from that constant mental math, the freedom from that small panic at the grocery checkout when your bill is double what you thought it would be. For years, financial gurus have told us the answer is a magical number. They tell us we need to be millionaires or earn six figures to achieve this peace of mind. But for most Canadians, those numbers feel so impossibly far away that they just cause more anxiety. They aren't helpful, and they aren't the real turning point. The truth is, you don't need $1 million to fundamentally change your relationship with money. The number is much, much smaller. The number that matters, the first real milestone that separates those who build wealth from those who live in a state of financial stress, is $20,000. Hitting this milestone is the key. It changes the math, but more importantly, it changes your mindset. And today, we are going to explore exactly why. I'm Jay, and welcome to the Maple Finance. It's great to have you here. On this channel, we don't just talk about the numbers, we focus on where the math meets the mindset. Because your psychology around money is the most important factor for success. Understanding how you think about money is more powerful than any stock tip or complex financial product you will ever find. And today, we are doing a deep dive into that $20,000 milestone. We will cover the psychology of why it works, the powerful math of compounding inside a TFSA, and the big mistakes to avoid. Now, for our standard disclaimer, I am a financial nerd, but I am not your licensed financial advisor, and this video is for educational purposes only. This is not personal financial advice. A real plan involves your own goals and even your province's tax laws, so please always do your own research. The way most people think wealth is built is wrong. We imagine it's a straight, predictable line. The reality is much different, especially at the beginning. Wealth is built in stages, separated by invisible barriers or financial thresholds. Crossing each threshold fundamentally changes the game. The first and most important threshold is getting from zero to your first $20,000. This is the hardest part of the entire journey. Think of saving that first $20,000 as pushing a giant boulder up a very steep hill. It's slow, grinding, and feels almost impossible at times. You're fighting against financial gravity. Every dollar you earn, the CRA takes its share, and the high cost of living means your expenses are constantly working against your savings goals. During this phase, any small investment returns you make feel insignificant. This is where most people get discouraged, stop pushing, and let the boulder roll back to the bottom. But that $20,000 mark is the peak of the hill. It is the destination for this entire first phase of your journey. Because something incredible happens when you get the boulder to the top. The fight is over. You give it one last push and it starts to roll down the other side. Suddenly, gravity starts working for you, not against you. The boulder, your wealth, starts to build its own momentum. This is the magic of compounding, and it all starts at $20,000. The difference after hitting $20,000 is not just mathematical, it's psychological. Before you have that buffer, your brain is stuck in survival mode. Survival mode is a state of constant, low-level panic. Your mind is occupied with immediate threats, making rent, paying bills, and just getting through the week. In this state, you make financial decisions based on fear and scarcity, not logic. It's why people get trapped in high-interest debt cycles. But crossing the $20,000 threshold changes the game. This buffer is a safety net. For the first time, your brain gets some breathing room. The constant panic recedes. This frees up an incredible amount of mental energy that was previously spent just worrying. Your core financial question shifts. It's no longer, how do I survive? It becomes, how do I make this money grow? Studies from researchers in Canada and around the world confirm this. Having a 3 to 6 month emergency fund provides a massive boost to your sense of well-being, reducing financial stress significantly. You are no longer just reacting to problems, you can now become the architect of your financial future. You can be proactive and strategic. This new strategic mindset is what allows you to properly use Canada's powerful wealth-building accounts. You finally have the headspace to focus on your TFSA and RRSP. Now for the math. Let's assume you save $1,000 a month inside your TFSA, and it earns an average 8% annual return by being invested in the market. To save your first $20,000, it will take you 19 months. This is the uphill push we talked about. This is pure discipline and delayed gratification. Now, how long does it take to save the next $20,000 to get to $40,000? Most people assume it's another 19 months. This is where they are wrong. Your second $20,000 takes only 17 months. Why? Because your first $20,000 is now working alongside you, generating its own returns tax-free. This effect accelerates over time. Fast forward a few decades. To get from $380,000 to $400,000 doesn't take years. At that stage, it takes only 6 months to make $20,000. Your money is now doing most of the heavy lifting for you. In the beginning, your returns feel insignificant. A 10% return on $2,000 is only $200. It's not life-changing money. But a 10% return on $20,000 is $2,000. $2,000 is real money. That's a mortgage payment for many Canadians. It's your money earned for you while you were sleeping. And you don't need to be a stock-picking genius to get these returns. Most people achieve this by simply and consistently buying broad market ETFs like VFIV or XEQT in their TFSA. But here's the real secret. The most valuable thing you get from saving your first $20,000 is not the money itself. It is the person you have to become to save it. To get here, you had to build discipline. You learned to track your spending, to delay gratification, and to say no to impulse buys. These are not just actions, they are skills. This process literally rewires your brain. You prove to yourself through action that you are the one in control of your money, not the other way around. This creates a powerful identity shift. You stop telling yourself, "I'm bad with money," and you start knowing, "I am a person who is good with money." This changes every future decision you make. You stop agonizing over small, insignificant purchases. Buying a coffee is no longer a stressful event because you know you have your big financial priorities handled. Your perception of financial shocks also changes. An unexpected car repair is no longer a life-altering disaster. It is simply an inconvenience that you can handle. Once your brain stops constantly scanning for threats, it has the freedom to start noticing opportunities, and they are everywhere. Maybe you see a certification course from a Canadian college that could lead to a promotion. Before, you couldn't afford it. Now you can see it as an investment in yourself. Maybe the stock market has a downturn. Instead of panicking like everyone else, you have the cash and the confidence to invest more into your TFSA or RRSP when prices are low. This is the real meaning of the phrase "money goes to money." It is not magic. It is simply that people with a financial buffer have the ability to say yes to opportunities that others cannot. A fascinating thing happens once you have a financial buffer. You stop obsessing over microtransactions. You realize that the cost of your daily coffee is not what's holding you back. Your focus shifts to the things that actually move the needle on your finances. In Canada, this is the big three: your housing, your transportation, and your food costs. Getting these right is what matters. This is incredibly liberating. It frees up enormous amounts of mental energy that you were previously spending on small, stressful, and insignificant financial decisions. This newfound mental freedom also completely changes the power dynamic at your job. When you are dependent on your next paycheck to survive, you are a prisoner. You have no real leverage, you can't negotiate effectively for a raise, and you have to tolerate bad projects or a toxic environment because you can't afford to leave. But when you have walking away money, you carry yourself differently. You don't have to say a word. People can sense that you are there by choice, not by necessity. This confidence is magnetic. You become more willing to speak up, lead projects, and ask for what you deserve. This often leads to better assignments, more recognition, and higher pay. But this is the moment of maximum danger. After all that hard work, it is incredibly tempting to see that $20,000 as a reward to be spent. And the number one mistake people make is taking that foundation and immediately sinking it into a brand new car or truck. A new vehicle is a wealth-destroying machine.
It's not just the payment, it's the sky-high Canadian insurance rates, the gas, the tires, and the maintenance that bleed you dry. It is a rapidly depreciating asset. The moment you drive it home, it's worth thousands less. You are setting your hard-earned money on fire. The real shift is when you stop asking, "Can I afford the payment?" and start asking, "What is the opportunity cost?" That $50,000 truck isn't just $50,000, it's the $300,000 it could have become if you invested it. The person who looks rich with the fancy truck is often the one who is financially fragile. The person quietly building wealth drives a reliable used car and invests the difference. This new mindset, this focus on opportunity cost, extends to all your major decisions. It allows you to build a life of freedom, not just a life of monthly payments.
In the end, $20,000 will not make you rich overnight. It is not the end of your financial journey. In fact, it is the very beginning. It is the clear dividing line between a life of financial survival and a life of financial thriving. It's the difference between being trapped by your circumstances and being in control of them. It is the critical shift from a life spent reacting to problems to a life spent designing your future. That is the power you unlock when you build this foundation. This $20,000 foundation is the most important asset you will ever build. It is the seed from which all future wealth in Canada can grow. The journey is not easy, but it is simple, and it is worth it. Your future self is begging you to start pushing that boulder today. Thanks for watching The Maple Finance. We'll see you next time, eh?